third dimension.
This is 3D or 2D.com's Duh 3D Show.
Put on your 3D glasses now.
If you're wondering what the 3D stand for, they are discussion, debate, and the news. We hope that you enjoy the show. Get it? The show? Welcome to episode 91. I'm Adolph. I have with me Jake.
Howdy, folks.
And this is a weird one because we got one big topic, but it's like an octopus with multiple tentacles to this one object. And all about DC Comics, and DC Fandom recently had DC had a fandom event where they have all these news events for TV shows and movies. And a lot of news came from this. And so far, there's going to be another one in September, right?
Yeah, it looks like Fandom was a lot more popular and a lot more interesting than how San Diego turned out. Of course, that's not all San Diego Comic-Con's fault. It's kind of tough when your two biggest draws, DC and Marvel, aren't participating.
Was there previous DC Fandom events? I don't remember that happening before.
Nope, this is the first time they've done something like this. And at the last minute, they decided to not be so ambitious with over 12 hours of live programming. They just kind of went with the 8 hours and just ran it a few times.
Well, we got a good amount of news and some big trailers, so let's get started. First off is Wonder Woman 1984. Got a second trailer, full-on trailer, and a new poster. And this trailer has the villain, Cheetah, and more of the plot. And I'm digging this. I'm digging this a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's looking like they took advantage of the delays they've had and have tweaked and took advantage of it and made it. Looks like they're making a good movie.
So it looks like Max Lord, the main villain here, has some kind of ability to grant wishes or something,
mm-hmm.
or desires. And we don't know exactly how all this worked out, but it seems like maybe this is the core nugget of the story of he somehow got this, and now, all these things have happened because of that. Like the cheetah getting, having a legitimate return for the love interest, Stephen Trevor.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Pine.
Yeah, they've really changed Maxwell Lord from the comics.
Yeah, Max Lord I always felt like was kind of a weird secondary version of Lex Luthor kind of thing.
Yeah, he was kind of the Max Lord I liked was in Keith Giffen's run of the Justice League. Kind of a little bit shady, but he was still a good guy. He had he could manipulate people. He had an ESP ability. He could convince people to do things, which is how he got the League together and brought it back and stuff. And that was a hilariously fun romp of a run. It's my favorite Justice League run. And it's interesting seeing him kind of turned into a Donald Trump-like character with a superpower of granting wishes.
Yeah, that's kind of I've seen some more newer Max Lord stuff on and they've kind of made him to be like another version of Trump and Lex kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
It makes sense, and it's set in the 80s.
Well, spoiler alert here for comic readers. One of the past reboots of Wonder Woman, she actually killed Maxwell Lord.
We'll see if she kills him this one.
Yeah, because she just snaps his neck. I mean, it was like, damn. They were trying to make This is when they were trying to make Wonder Woman a hardcore badass and had her be real mean and stuff, which is just not her nature.
Well, to a degree, I say that, unlike Superman or Batman, she has the warrior aspect, and, death is just, not a big deal. I mean, not the same degree. I think she's willing to kill. She doesn't have she has reservations about killing, but she, doesn't. She will do it.
It was just kind of one of those things. I mean, it wasn't as bad as when John Byrne had Superman kill the Kryptonian criminals.
All right, going back to this trailer, we got to see for the first time Cheetah. What do you think of Cheetah?
Interesting. They didn't basically make her Catwoman in a cheetah suit. It looks like they went back to the kind of, but it looks like they had the friendship between Barbara Minerva and Diane, and they're not going with the stupid slut-shaming storyline in one of the reboots that she wants immortality, but because she's not a virgin, she's turned into a cheetah.
Yeah, there's a lot of different cheetahs, and
and a lot of them are complete bullshit. Real misogynistic crap. Which is why I figure that's why Cheetah was not in the first movie, because that's a character that would really have to be reworked hard.
And, considering that they have the same director, Patty Jenkins, here, and I think I have no doubts about this movie at all. The only doubt is this going to be a theatrical release, which right now it still says October 2nd and in 3D. So...
And only in theaters. The posters on the Fandom, they were promoting only in theaters.
Yeah. So let's see if that
what
sticks.
He said.
Yeah. Let's see if that sticks, and hopefully it does.
Yeah, didn't for Mulan, but this is a different studio.
We're recording this on August 25th at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Things may have changed by the time you actually hear this podcast. So, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And by the time most of you hear this, you might have to wrestle with the decision of whether to go see New Mutants or not.
Yeah. We're going to try to post this as soon as we can, but, we got other things to talk about, so let's keep on going. Let's talk about Batman.
That was a trailer. Wow.
It looked really cool, but it was super darkly lit.
Yeah? And I was like going, I don't care if vampires sparkle or not. That was an awesome trailer.
I'm not 100% sold on it. I think it looks good. I like it. I'm not in love with it yet, but I don't...
Jeffrey Wright is what put me over. He just has that dad authority walk.
Director Matt Reeves, I have complete faith in. He did all the Apes movies, or most of them. So I'm not sold. I'm not 100% against it. I'm not 100% for it. I think it looks good. So
yeah, yeah. Patterson, he really captured kind of the whole douchey Bruce Wayne persona.
Yeah,
he's always had a douche facade. That's, I think, the way he kind of keeps people off. Not paying too much attention to him, and he had that down pat. Of course, we already knew he had the Batman down pat, but when he took off the cowl and he's got the dark, makeup under the eyes, which is something that all the actors wore dark eyeshadow to conceal their skin under the mask, but when they would take it off, it would be mysteriously not present.
So the one thing about this Batman I really like, Jake, is that they kind of tease the Riddler here, and the Riddler is not corny. It's like a serial killer. I like it a lot.
Yeah. It's kind of like Christopher Nolan meets David Fincher. It's just kind of like the Dark Knight trilogy meets Seven. And there was this one old guy, I was like going in the trailer, is that supposed to be the Penguin? Is that Colin Farrell under all that makeup? I couldn't tell. Wasn't in the trailer enough for me to just glom on and tell.
Yeah, it's a really good teaser where it definitely gets you interested in this movie and like, okay, what's happening next? The darkness is kind of becoming a meme already, and it's like, okay, I get it, but I have to see the characters in the movie.
Yeah, it wasn't that dark. I mean, it wasn't like X-Files, which you couldn't even see anything.
I was really worried about it because the 3D aspect, and like, oh, is that not going to be in 3D because of this? And then the official Batman website from Warner Brothers says, quote, Batman is set to open theaters October 1st, 2021 in select 3D and 2D and IMAX theaters distributed worldwide. So 3D is confirmed for the Batman movie.
But Matt Reeves has shot Dark before and in 3D, so he can handle it.
So
And I'm sure he's got a cinematographer who knows what they're doing. So I've got faith. I mean, he's got a track record that's really good.
yeah, I think it's going to work out well.
Yeah, and Zoe Kravitz, she looked great as Catwoman.
Yeah, I like the idea of having this be a Rose Gallery, not just one villain anymore, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, this is kind of a year two with a little bit of the looks like they got the long Halloween. Yeah, I noticed we didn't see anything at Two-Face.
Yeah, I mean,
Of course, they got to leave us some surprises.
yeah, and I'm fine, you know. I forget all the villains are supposed to be in here, but it's supposed to be a lot of them. So,
Yeah, the long Halloween had a lot of villains. And that Batmobile looked badass.
I'm digging it. I'm digging it. I'm not in love with it, but I dig it.
Oh, it looks like a muscle car that some guy could put together with a little scratch.
All right, let's keep going here. We also got some news on a new Justice League trailer for the Snyder Cut. I like this a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you notice all the footage was footage that was not in the movie.
Yes, and that's a great way of doing it.
Mm-hmm. Well, Zack Snyder said none of Josh Whedon's footage is going to be in his cut.
Well, I think that's a little bit of a misnomer because, I mean, you can't do the whole movie, you know?
Well, the thing is, we don't know. There were massive reshoots for Justice League and whole subplots. Basically, all the black characters had their plots removed.
Yeah, I think Cyborg.
Or Iris, Iris West, her family, all gone. Cyborg's whole story is gone. Because Zack Snyder said that Cyborg was kind of the central core of the movie, which you wouldn't have known that from watching Josh Whedon's version.
So one thing about this Justice League, Jake, it looks really different. Like the color palette is not ugly, like not as ugly as the theatrical cut.
Yeah, it's not garish. It looks more subdued, like the earlier um, movies in this in the DCU and Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy.
So how they're gonna release this is kind of weird. Zack Snyder said that, I don't know if you heard this, that they're gonna make it 4 separate 1-hour installments on HBO Max and then bundled together at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that probably means eventually it'll be all combined either for home video or on the service to stream and for other markets.
4 hours is a lot of time.
Yeah, but it'll probably be like the difference between Watchmen theatrical and Watchmen the director's cut. It's night and day. Yeah, you would think Warner Brothers would learn their lesson. How many times have they been down this road? A Star is Born in '54, Blade Runner, The Avengers, move the Steed and Peel, not the Marvel characters. Trying to think of some of the other movies they've had to go back and oh yeah, Lethal Weapon series. They're always letting suits last minute muck up movies, and then they oh yeah, The Exorcist. Yeah, they always wind up going back and having to re-release a movie either for the producer or for the director. It's great because a lot of studios won't do that, and the movie has to change to another studio before it gets rescued. But Warner's in the past is pretty good about correcting errors that the fans see in their product. Because, like, I figure, even though there was no mention of the Ayers cut or the Schumacher cut of those movies, but because of the vast interest, I think they're waiting to see how Zack Snyder's Justice League does before they move forward on HBO Max with the other two projects, which won't cost nearly as much because they're already in the can. They don't need, neither one of them need reshoots.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see how this is being made and how it's gonna feel different, and it's gonna be interesting, very interesting.
Yeah, I'm very interested. I mean, Zack Snyder's not my favorite filmmaker, but he does some interesting stuff, and I really want to see. I really wanted to see what he was going to do. I mean, uh, I think the director's cut of Superman versus, Dawn of Justice is a hell of a lot better than the theatrical version was.
Yeah, I agree. Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice, the director's 3.5 hour cut is a better movie, the ultimate cut or whatever, than the original one. But it's also kind of one of those things where brevity is important to have in movies, and it's just like, yes, it's you could do great things with 4 hours, but you gotta find a way to edit that down and make it still
I
palatable.
know, but no, but the thing is, some stories just take longer. I mean, because I mean, the Justice League movie, what that thing wasn't even 2 hours, and it just was. It moved, but it didn't. It moved because it didn't do anything except be bright and have some horrible jokes. I mean, that scene with the Flash and Wonder Woman. I mean, it was terrible.
So, speaking of the Flash,
Ah,
we got some new Flash movie news. This is not going to be vaporware because Warner Brothers and DC are putting some big money into this movie because we got not one Batman, but two Batman returned in this movie.
mm-hmm. Yep.
And that costs money, boys and girls, and anyone else in between, because that's going to cost some serious bank to get Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck to reprise both of their roles as Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Big part of this movie, and that takes money. That takes a bank.
Yeah, because Keaton's on a between Birdman and his turn as the Vulture. He's flying high. He's pretty popular again, and of course Affleck is, still popular.
After him quitting and coming back, they had to get a good amount of money to do that. So,
Yeah, and it shows that he really cared, that he's willing to come back and give his character a proper send off, which makes me even angrier because I'm sure uh part of the reason he quit has a lot to do with all the tea that Ray Fisher's been dropping about what really happened on set.
yeah, I mean, I think part of the deal was that Affleck was going to be able to make his own Batman movie, and they took it away from him. I think, right?
Yeah, and I've noticed how everything has to be based on Jeff Johns' interpretation of stuff. I mean, yeah, he's written some great stuff, but guess what? The great stuff at DC was not written by him. Like the best Batman stories were written by Denny O'Neil, which those stories got used in Arrow. Most of those great seasons of Arrow, where he's fighting the League of Assassins, that's all based on Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams' run on Batman.
So, getting back to Flash, we got some new concept art, not pictures. Make sure that's 100% clear. Concept art, people.
Mm-mm.
Things will change. That's why it's not 100% in focus and not, it looks like a cartoon because it's not real art from the movie. It's not a real picture. So it's going to be a new suit for Barry.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be sleeker and be given to him by Batman, which is fine. I never was a big fan of the Justice League suits for his Flash. I just thought, I don't know, it looked too bulky.
It looked uncomfortable, and you couldn't run very fast in it.
So let's and the newest Flash TV show outfit I love. I think it looks beautiful and looks very much like a good version of the comic book interpretation of it. So,
and we'll probably see Grant Gustin in the Flash movie, since we saw Ezra Miller on the Flash TV show.
Yes, that's one thing now. So they mentioned that there's more opportunity for movies and TV crossover following the Crisis of Infinite Earths cameo. So that is confirmed. So that is definitely, they are thinking about this. So Grant, apparently the Flash was never mentioned his name in the movie Justice League. So he got the name Flash from Grant Gustin's Flash TV show. So that loop is there. And I love the idea of Grant Gustin teaching him how to be Flash. That's awesome.
Yeah, that would be incredible.
Because they did that to a degree with Flash and the 90s TV show Flash in the Flash TV show.
Yeah. Well, one of the throwaway lines in the early Flash show was that Zoom had changed the timeline because he was trying to have Barry become the Flash sooner than he was supposed to, so he could get his Speed Force back, so he could go back to the future. So Grant Gustin Flash is in an altered timeline from Ezra Miller's Flash. Of course, Ezra Miller's Flash, which was it, the Snyderverse or the Whedonverse Flash that met Grant Gustin? I know, head exploding.
So, yeah, there's a multiverse which has been established in the Arrowverse, which is now over. And, you know, just in case people don't know, they had that crossover. And that crossover between Ezra Miller and the Flash was not leaked, which was awesome because everyone that watched that show were like, oh my God.
Yeah, and it was like, oh my God, that was so awesome and incredible. And it looks like they're going all in, even more so than, yeah. So it's going to be who gets their multiverse movie to the theaters first. It's probably going to be Marvel. I think Marvel's probably going to get Doctor Strange into the theaters first. But DC has always kind of owned the multiverse
concept.
Yep. Because, I mean, they started it in comics in 1961, you know, the Flash of Two Worlds.
So basically how this could work, which is really easy, is basically Flash does the Flashpoint. He changes the past, and you get to see Ben Affleck Batman be in this movie, and then he goes back to fix it, and then you see Michael Keaton's Batman, and then apparently it's separate from Robert Pattinson's Batman, but at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if they do it anyway, just because, but they don't want to say it yet, you know?
Yeah. I'm wondering how they're going to, they're probably going to, after Flashpoint, tell us where each character's, what Earth each character's on, but they're probably keeping us in the dark right now, to keep secrets and to create surprises and interest and suspense and, you know, keep the hype up, which is a good idea.
Yeah, so this news has really invigorated the Flash movie, which we thought was vaporware, and I think it's going to happen. They put too much money into it now.
Yeah.
And it's going to happen. It may take another 2 years, but, I mean, anyway, coronavirus was going to screw that up anyway. So it's exciting to see what they're going to do with this. And
one thing at Fandom, though, that did raise my eyebrows, how there was no mention of Aquaman.
Huh, interesting.
Yeah, because what's going on with that? I mean, there's been so many stories and so many rumors and whispers. I mean, are they going to do the Trench movie first?
Ugh.
Has that been... Oh, it could be good. Juan's a really good horror director. And that was a great scene in the Aquaman movie where they go to the trench. That was some spooky, scary, cool stuff. I could see that in a movie. It'd be a perfect opportunity to showcase lesser Aquaman characters like Aqualad, Tula, the Aqua Girl, Dolphin. I mean, it'd be perfect place to, and heck, you could kill them all off if you want to, because it's not like there's a big fan interest in any of these characters anymore. I mean, and you could use either Aqualad, or hell, you could invent Aqua Boy and send him in there and kill him off. I mean, it could be real interesting. But I just thought it was interesting that they didn't have anything to show for Aquaman.
I didn't think about it before he said that, but I agree 100%, especially since Aquaman made bank.
Yeah, serious bank.
And people were crapping on Aquaman before for decades.
Yay! I know. So us people who liked Ramona Friedman's art always had to. Of course, I have to admit the way they crap on Aquaman on this show, The Boys, is hilarious.
All right, let's keep going here. So we got the Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad. Written and directed by James Gunn, and we got a behind-the-scenes feature and a character roll call video. We didn't get a teaser trailer. The exclusive sneak peek kind of thing is just kind of a fluffy kind of thing they do. Studios do that a lot of times where they have like a fluffy kind of stuff about, oh, we have fun making this movie. Here's some out of context clips. And oh yeah, that was a cool shot. It's pretty standard for movies, right, Jake?
But it looked real. But the stuff looked great. And Harley Quinn's outfit was wow. They got her out of those stupid booty shorts and into an outfit that somebody would actually go kick somebody's ass in.
And the other trailer that has the roll call with all the characters. Oh, that was so much fun.
Oh, it looked awesome. The graphics, that whole faux comic book pop art thing, and Polka Dot Man.
Polka Dot Man.
Man, it's one of my favorite Z-grade Batman villains from the 50s.
Yeah, and they're just completely going crazy with the costumes. They're like, you know what? Yeah, who cares? It's a comic book movie. Don't like it? Too bad.
Yeah, but the thing is, they've gotten rid of the booty shorts on Harley Quinn. I mean, I was like, really? Only thing you were missing is the 7-inch heels.
Yeah, I think it's the same outfit that she has in the Harley Quinn cartoon.
Yeah, pretty much.
Almost the same, if not basically right there. Have you seen that cartoon?
Not yet.
It's on DC All Access, which is basically dying, and now on HBO Max. And
yeah, they just make DC Universe part of HBO Max. Just merge the two.
It's actually happening, and I'm totally fine with that because I don't want to get DC, but I have HBO Max, and I dig that cartoon. It is hardcore R, and it's hilarious, and they knew what they were doing when they're making that show. So,
sounds awesome. It sounds like a reason to invest in a series. But the only reason I haven't jumped to HBO Max yet is I'm afraid that they're not going to port over all the comic books you can read on DC Universe to HBO Max.
Yeah, I think that's a dying dinosaur that's going to be extinct soon, sadly.
Yeah, because it looks like the companies that own the comic book companies have decided we're not going to let these little rogues control our multi-billion-dollar properties that we can make billion-dollar movies with.
And partially too, the pandemic, the COVID-19 coronavirus has. I mean, the comic book shops were in bad shape before, but now, I mean, it's not. A lot of them are closed down forever. You know,
forever. Yeah, I know. Yeah, they're saying something like 80% of independent businesses aren't going to survive this.
And the comic book stores, they were barely scrapping by with, and then it's there always been smaller kind of stores, and part of the appeal is to flip through these catalogs, and you don't want to flip through there, and you can't clean them every single comic book in there. Even if you wear masks, it's still, your hands are gonna get everywhere.
Yeah. And you can't really use UV cleaning because you'll mess up because the bags and the boards, it will degrade. If you have to keep cleaning them, you'll degrade the quality. And I doubt comic book shops can get people to wear gloves.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the high-end comic book places, if you want to look at their Golden Age books, you will put on a pair of gloves. You will not touch them with your bare hands. You won't touch them, period, because they'll be encased in something. But to even touch that encasing, they'll make you wear gloves. But since I'm not the type who can spend several grand for a comic book, that's something I've never had to go through.
So let's go back to Suicide Squad here. The character list here is so much fun. We got, okay, I'm gonna name them all and go, and the actors first, then character. Joel Kinnaman is Rick Flag. Cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was in the first one.
Michael Rooker is Savant. I never heard of that character.
He's a real obscure one, so I figure he's cannon fodder.
Frala Borg is Javelin. Never heard of her.
It's another obscure one. She's that's probably more cannon fodder.
Margaret Robbie as Harley Quinn again. Awesome.
Yeah. I don't think she's gonna get killed off.
No way in hell she's gonna get killed off.
Now, I would love it if, she steps on a landmine 5 minutes in. I would be howling with laughter, but the whole rest of the audience would be going, "No! Not Harley, no!"
No, even though Harley Quinn movie did not do that well in the box office, I think there's enough people excited that like that character to keep it going. And
it did well enough that they're talking about another one.
Yeah, I think it was just a bad timing of the coronavirus just starting to pick up then, and rated hard R movie. And I think once people knew what's going on, I think a lot of people weren't sure what to expect from it. And, we're like, I'll wait. And then I'll wait didn't happen because of the coronavirus.
They should have called it Harley Quinn. They shouldn't have made a Birds of Prey movie.
It's now on HBO Max, and I imagine a lot of people are going to see it on HBO Max and be like, yes,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
David Dastmalchian as Polka Dot Man.
Yes!
First time Polka Dot Man on theatrical, live action.
Mm-hmm. And I hope he's not cannon fodder. I'm rooting for him to survive.
So his suit, he could take off the dots and use them for things or something.
Yep.
Daniela Mashore is Ratcatcher 2. Never heard of her.
Ratcatcher 2.
Ratcatcher.
Ratcatcher is one of those cool villains. They've changed the gender of the character and made her the successor to the original Ratcatcher.
Ah, okay. Idris Elba is Bloodsport. Not again. We were wondering if he was gonna change the role and be replace Will Smith, but he's not replacing him. He's not Deadshot.
Yeah, they just picked out a character so obscure I forgot about him. Bloodsport was like one of those real obscure characters that was like, holy crap, I had completely forgot about him. So good call, because he's basically yet another, because it's late 80s, early 90s, everybody was there was Deathstroke, Deathstrike, Deadpool. They were all copies of each other. Just when the comic book code would let them use the dead and death as character names.
A lot of these are super obscure.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm a pretty DC fanboy. I'll admit to that. I don't know who these people are.
Yeah. Wait till you get to Nathan Fillion. I'll fill you in on some of that.
Yeah, so that's an interesting story. Next up here is Steve Agee playing Onset as King Shark and John Economos. So King Shark is great. No way in hell he's dying.
I don't know because he's in the Flash TV show, the character.
Yeah,
Hmm.
but he's such a badass. How would you kid? I mean, if he does die, it's gonna be hilarious.
At one time, there were rumors that Ron Funches was going to be doing the voice, and now I'm hearing rumors that it's Taika Waititi.
And King Shark, it's such a CG character. I didn't really get to see him at all in there, but that's gonna be some money.
Yeah, I want to see Jaws 3 remade with the character of King Shark.
All right, so we got here Mongol, which by mailing.
It's the daughter of Mongol. She's Mongol. It's Mongol. She's the daughter.
Correct. You're correct. Sorry, you're right. The daughter of Mongol, which is a Superman character, a Superman villain.
Yeah, is one of those characters that is pretty obscure and is one of those that he's not used much because of claims of cultural appropriation and stuff. I don't know, maybe, but the daughter, she's kind of one of those characters that exists because they wanted to give the dad a daughter, kind of like Scandal Savage. It exists to create drama in Vandal Savage's life.
So some of his powers, they've changed over the years. Mongol, but Mongol, I assume, is very similar, if not exactly the same. Super strength, super speed, super healing, stamina, and
we have no idea if he exists in this cinematic universe. So she may be pretty much the female version of him, and who knows if she's cannon fodder or not.
I mean, I imagine not, because that'd be super powerful character. Let's keep going here. Sean Gunn as Weasel.
Yeah, looks like James likes to cast his brother as rodents.
So Weasel is actually a DC character.
Yeah.
B. Davidson as Blackguard. Never heard of that.
Oh, it's super obscure character.
John Cena as Peacemaker, which is considered an actor that's like a douchey Captain America, which sounds awesome.
Yeah, Peacemaker's a great character. He's a Charlton Comics who DC bought decades ago, to where they got Blue Beetle, one of the Blue Beetle. It's a long story. DC has bought a lot of old comic companies and smashed them into their universe. And Peacemaker is one of the more interesting of Charlton characters that never, because there's Pete Cannon Thunderbolt, and there's the Blue Beetle, the Question. There's a bunch of them, but Peacemaker had never been kind of revived. Now he has, and Cena it'd be perfect because his sense of humor and stuff. Because if you've seen Cock Blockers, he's going to be perfect as Peacemaker.
So Pete Davidson as Blackguard. Never heard of him.
Yeah, it's cannon fodder.
Peter Capaldi as the Tinkerer. Not heard of him. Yeah.
The Thinker.
Is it Thinker or Tinkerer?
Thinker.
Okay.
Flash villain. Was that terrible Flash villain on TV? He's probably cannon fodder. And he's also a lot more comic accurate than he was on the CW, the character.
I thought the Thinker was a different character than the Tinkerer.
They're both the Thinker.
Huh. Interesting.
Unless they changed Capaldi's character's name at the last minute, but he was originally cast as the Thinker.
Okay. Let's keep going.
The head dress he's wearing as his character is the Thinker's head.
Yeah. Because the Tinkerer is a Marvel character, so.
Yeah, and the Thinker's a DC.
I don't know. Juan Diego Botto as President General Silvio Luna. I don't know. Joaquin Casio as Mayor General Mateo Suarez. No.
Probably characters from Suicide Squad, which I haven't read in decades. The early ones. I need to get back. I need to go reread those because that was some great stuff.
Um, Jen Holland as Emila Harcourt. No idea who that is. Storm Reed as Tyla. No idea who that is.
I imagine she's going to be Bloodsport's daughter.
Alice Braga as Solacera. No idea who that is.
Yeah, I don't know either. Probably just a character, either early Suicide Squad run or related to somebody in the squad.
So this next one is one that you mentioned before, Nathan Fillion as TDK. What does that stand for?
This character was created for this because the story I've heard is James Gunn wanted to use a Legion character called Arm Fall Off Boy.
Yep.
And so he created the detachable and I'm not sure what the K stands for,
Kid.
but apparently, yeah, he can remove his limbs. And since it's Nathan Fillion, it's pretty sure he's cannon fodder. So don't get too attached, like his arms.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't been in DC Comics in a long time, but it's one of the dumbest and fun characters. He's gonna, literally rip off his arm and hit someone with the other arm.
Yeah. I always thought somebody should have done a Legion book with Arm Fall Off Boy, Weather Wizard, and Storm Boy and Eiffel Ethel.
So the detachable kid, or TDK for short, to sound cooler, because he's not a kid, he's an adult.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be fun. And then finally, Jay Courtney as Captain Boomerang. Why, Jake? Why is Captain Boomerang? Why? Because he comes back. Because that's what boomerangs do. He comes back. He
was pretty good
in the original Suicide Squad.
Yeah. I mean, there were some other characters I wish they had brought back, but hey, we get Nathan Fillion, so I'm happy.
So the little teaser and everything, so far everything they've shown, this looks awesome. And James Gunn, having the pedigree of both Guardians movies, this is has everything behind it. It's going to be great. If it's not great, it's going to be a massive disappointment,
Yeah. And we have no idea if this is going to be an R or a PG-13 movie. James Gunn can make equally as good movie with either rating.
Yeah, we don't know that either. I think they may go into R, but it's on the edge, and we don't know if this is 3D yet that I know of. We do know for a fact Batman is. We do know for a fact that Wonder Woman is, and Justice League is going to be an HBO Max, which doesn't have 3D. But Suicide Squad, I mean, for now, we'll assume it is.
Yeah. Yeah, it better be 3D. I want to see Polka Dot Man throw his dots in 3D.
And, all right, next up, Black Adam. So, we got some concept art, which I was kind of expecting there to be a trailer for this, too, because Dwayne Johnson has been Black Adam for like 10 years, but hasn't shown anything.
They haven't shot an inch of footage. Because you got to remember, his ex-wife also not only manages The Rock, but also manages Henry Cavill.
And he says the hierarchy of power in DC Universe is about to change. And Black Adam is the same power as Shazam. So, and Black Adam's been that powerful for thousands of years. So it's going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like they're sticking pretty close to the comics with his character. I mean, I imagine he is not going to have the same wife. Because I can't imagine a DC movie using the character of Isis.
Yeah.
Because of branding issues, and Isis has a whole other meaning now.
Yeah, you know how it is. It's gonna be Fox News. DC Comics wants to have your kids buy ISIS toys.
Yeah.
All right, so we got some dates we're gonna mention. Wonder Woman 1984 still scheduled for theaters October 2nd, 2020.
We'll see.
We'll see.
Heck, we'll know. We'll start getting a feel because more places are going to be opening up Friday, showing movies.
Um, so 2021 at some point in time via HBO Max, the Snyder Cut of Justice League will come out.
hmm
August 6th, 2021 is Suicide Squad.
Sounds good.
October 1st, 2021, Batman.
Yeah, long Halloween indeed.
December 22nd, 21, Black Adam, which
They got a lot of faith. They got a lot of faith in Black Adam, putting him on. Of course, The Rock has been doing well at Christmas.
yeah, I mean, the fact that there's not a trailer for it and it's supposed to come out in a year, and I don't think they've filmed anything for it, and with coronavirus still around, I don't see how that doesn't get delayed.
We will see. I mean, The Rock is the hardest working man in show business.
Yeah. I mean, I guess everyone's gonna have to go to New Zealand. That's the only good place to shoot.
That's why Taika Waititi's and everything. It's because they all have to shoot in his backyard.
But yeah, I mean, we'll see how things are starting to open up. I mean, kind of, sort of, not as bad as it used to be, but
And then things are shutting back down. But the Rona is still here, and no matter how people ignore it, it's still out there.
and I've been reading reports about how even if you do survive it, which look, most of the people listening will probably survive it. God forbid me or you get it, will probably survive it. Probably being the key word. The thing is, there's a lot of lasting effects that we don't know, and that you may have permanent lung or heart damage, and that's not something that is easy to live with.
Yeah, or brain damage.
So it's going to be interesting how the long-term effects of this, does last, and long-term economic effects and everything going on with this coronavirus. So,
hmm Yeah, I mean, the U.S. economy is in the crapper.
so we'll see what of these movies get released still. I mean, the one that's obviously done 100% is Wonder Woman. That should have already released. But we'll see when that comes out. Is there any other news you wanted to mention, Jake?
Oh, I'm trying to think now because we've gone over so much stuff. I'm trying to remember everything. Um, oh, now it slips my mind. I knew there was something, but I can't remember.
You mentioned that the Sandman movie or something.
Not a movie. It looks like Sandman might be coming to HBO Max, but I have no idea when. It's like it's being developed. There hasn't. It's just what Neil Gaiman said at Fandom. I mean, it's being worked on. Who knows when exactly? It's something in production. They haven't really announced if it's ready to go or anything.
So, yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how everything works out. But I was pleasantly surprised by all this, and I think this is actually a really good way of doing it, and having these presentations, and it's not the best, but I think they get a lot of stuff covered, and
This is to me this is better than San Diego Comic Con because 99% of the people listening to this will never be able to go to San Diego Comic Con, and in the 1% of you that do, most of you couldn't get into Hall H to see these presentations anyway. Everybody's on equal footing. You just kick back, find a feed. I mean, I found guys on YouTube who were porting it over, so I didn't need to try to get my computer working. I could just watch it on my TV, and I was happy as a clam.
what'd you think of a Dark Side and Justice League trailer. I thought it looked okay. Not great, but not terrible either.
Oh, compared to Steppenwolf, he looked amazing.
Yeah, Steppenwolf is going to look different. He looks different already.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, all they can do is go up.
So, yeah, this is going to be a really good... I think this is going to be a good time for DC, and it looks like they're really starting to figure things out, and I'm excited for everything.
Yeah. Do I think they're going to return to the old universe? No. But I don't think they're going on the path that they were starting to the brand new, happier, fun time universe either. I think we're just going to get some movies that are loosely connected, and they're going to build their universe the way Marvel did, which is smart because when you try to cut corners on building a shared universe, it bites you in the ass. We're looking at you, Dark Universe.
And I think they're more focused on making fun, enjoyable movies, which ultimately is more important than universe.
Yeah, exactly. Because if they were sticking with their universe, we would have never gotten Joker.
Yeah, and I do wonder about Shazam too. You didn't see anything about that, but there's still time.
The thing is, the fact that it was mentioned by The Rock in passing, we know it's happening. This was pretty much to let The Rock strut. I mean, just hope they're not waiting too long because those kids aren't getting any younger.
All right, I guess that's basically it for everything that, there's a lot of other TV stuff and other things that are not really related to 3D movies. We're trying to focus this on 3D movies, but it's a really good amount of content DC and Warner Brothers showcased, and I'm excited. I think this is a really good way of doing things, and look forward to more stuff in the future.
Yeah, I hope they do more of this. I also hope Marvel does something like this. Heck, Disney would be well served to have an event like this, but knowing Disney, they'd probably charge you $50 to watch it online.
All right, I guess that's going to be it for us. Bye.
Bye.
Before this podcast wraps up, I want to thank my patrons. Thank you, Kano3D and Mr. Bango 5 for your financial support on patreon.com. So that's going to be it for this podcast. Thanks for listening. You can find 3D or 2D on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, and more. Just look for 3D or 2D. Links are in the info box. If you want to send us listener mail, our email address is email3dortwo@gmail.com. Thank you for either listening or watching this podcast. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.